Hiya, and welcome back to Heroes Advent. The game that teaches us that, that Dave is easily convincible. I don't know what else to say. In case it wasn't clear, we're doing the corrupted paths now, and I have no clue how to get onto those. If we have anyone here who knows, please guide me, because I don't know what I'm doing. I truly don't know. You just have to do all the bad choices. Okay, I guess time to start from the beginning. Wait, can we start from the beginning? So can you retell a bit of the story, please? Okay, so we're just gonna start from the beginning. Turn to respond. We're confident. Fucking Carl. Hiya. Doing the naughty choices. Let me make sure NSFW content is off. Admire, no, embrace. We gotta be confident. If we're going to be horny as hell, then we might as well be confident. Somehow you had a strange feeling, a sudden urge to inspect your new self, as if a different voice was whispering the instruction to you. Okay. What are our stats? So far, nothing yet. Okay, I'm clicking. Yeah, that's definitely me in there, no doubt about it. Seek confidence and be a horny bitch. Wonder if Carl classes lifeline. Time to just get through all this in the beginning. Yeah, roots. No, not that. No, flowers. Hiya. Seek confidence. Gonna clean the floors. Hi, Max. Ah! After having breakfast, Elisa told you that there weren't really any urgent tasks or chores for the time being, so you decided to head outside the house for a bit. Your eyes were wandering when you noticed something out of the ordinary. On the right side of a homestead, you could see Max setting up some sort of makeshift training range, though it looked more fitted for bows or guns, if guns even existed in this world. After setting up the target dummy, Max put some distance in between before pulling out his weapon, which from afar looked like some kind of crossbow. Though it was almost as big as those sniper rifle guns you remember seeing in movies or video games. You weren't sure how he's doing it, but after charging up the crossbow, he pulled the trigger and delivered 2 consecutive shots towards the training dummy. You could barely hear the arrows flying through the air when you saw the first one nail the dummy head on the head, while the second one grazed past its head and landed on the fence post behind. Whoa! Talk about skilled! Hey, Dave, right? Don't be a stranger, come. Okay. You hesitantly approached as a canine gestured towards himself. You expected no less, but the sudden change in attitude was still jarring to witness. Hey! Hey, how are you holding up? I'm alright. So, why didn't you speak to me at first the other days? Ah, that. Well, I suppose I do owe you an apology for giving you the cold shoulders like so. Normally it wouldn't take this much for one to put 2 and 2 together, but since you are not from this land, I presume you aren't aware of the situation here either. Yeah, I'm afraid not. Like, just this alone is already a lot to take in for me. You gestured at yourself when the canine had a weird look on his face. Huh, so you're saying you could have taken a lot more if done differently? What? Ah, never mind then. Forget what I said. Okay, so, what's going on here? No. Yeah, which one? We gotta read one of them anyways. Let me put on my glasses. Oh, fuck, where are they? Oh, shit, where'd I put them? Where the hell did I... Oh, there they are. Found them. Yay! I'm actually gonna fucking wear them. Bow, 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 bow. Alrighty, they are on. Alright. Well, it's a long story, quite complicated even. Perhaps in time I'll tell you more about it in detail. For the time being, you just need to know that there's an ongoing war against the same king we both know of. And it's a war that's been waged on many fronts. Now even the terrains aren't the only thing that's treacherous. It's getting harder to trust people in the same land, let alone outsiders such as you. That said, since Elisa seems to trust you that much, I'm willing to make an exception. I trust that you won't betray that trust. I wouldn't want something like that happening to her. Yeah, well, she was the one who saved me, and looking after my own safety and well-being so far, I don't think that could happen, right? Perhaps not. Yeah. Actually, no, not here specifically. I just happen to have some free time to kill this morning. It's always good to put some practice in often. Keeping your skills sharp is quite important, not just in my line of work, I believe. Yeah, that sounds about right. So... Show me your moves. Oh, are you sure about that, Dave? Unless you just want me to put on a show, becoming a fighter is not for everyone, you know. We are about to piss so many people off. You're right, but if this land is in peril, like Elisa said, then it's best that I learned how to fight and defend myself, right? That's a good point. Perhaps I could show you some basic stuff or two. I think we already read all this. But first, before you knew it, Max grabbed what looked like wooden swords from the nearby table and tossed one at you. Instinctively, you reached out for the sword handle just in time for you to grab it firmly, albeit still fumbling a little. Nice. I feel like we could have, like, already skipped past all this. So, here's what I'm going to do. Because we wasted, like, 7 minutes. I'm going to do this, and then this. Should I do this? Like, should I? I mean... The goal is we are going to be corrupted. That's the end goal, so should we just load ahead to the route selection? Yeah, let's not. Nice. Thanks! We're using swords, but I thought you'd just... Well, yeah, I might be a ranger myself, but all fighters receive basic training in fencing. Oh... Thus, on guard! The canine assumed the same pose you've seen musketeers or similar characters would take, then delivered a swing towards you. You quickly held the sword up in what you felt like a defensive stance and braced for impact. The swords clattered loudly as they collided. Strangely enough, you felt yourself flinching from the strike, but your stance never budged. Huh, well, that's not really a stance, but I can see what you were trying to do here. Not bad, actually. Now, try hitting me as hard as you can. Are you sure? Yup, don't worry, I can take it. I just wanted to gauge your strength regardless. Max chuckled as he assumed a defensive stance himself, which looked much sturdier than what you attempted. Grip the sword the same way you would a baseball bat and struck him as hard as you can. The swords clattered loudly, and you can even hear them splintering a little. Oh, geez, either you hit that hard or these swords are getting pretty worn out. Either way, not bad. Well, that's enough having fun. Huh? What do you mean? Well, fencing techniques are mostly useful in duels, but would everybody be dueling each other respectfully in a war? No, right? Yeah, people tend not to follow those rules, especially with the likes of the evil king himself. Right. So I can show you a basic version of how it can go in the field. Watch closely. Oh shit, where the suspicious vines are the sus vines. Watch closely. Okay. Gotta tackle you. Well, what are you waiting for? Hit me. Dave uses tackle. Max resisted the hit. You fucker! You fucker. Good try. Pay close attention to your enemy's movements and the amount of damage you're doing to each other. Dave slashes at Max with their claws. Max dodged to the last second. Dave's tackle has come off cooldown. Fuck you! Ah, you bitch! You think you've bought off more than you can chew. Fleeing might be a good option. Hey, don't run off just yet! Dave slashes at Max with their claws. Max sidestepped the attack. You know... fuck. You wanna defend? Well, that's all there is to it. Well done. And get fucked by hentai. Dave uses Dave. Tier S. It was a fun experience. It was already lunchtime before you knew it. You and Max rested by the porch for the time being after the training session. Dave uses tears. It's super effective. So, what do you say, Dave? Think you're cut out to be a fighter? I guess so. I'd love to learn how to fight so that I could defend myself. And maybe others too. I like your spirit. What is going on with my glasses? There's like something on there. It is like fucking with me. Like I can't ignore it. Either it's glare or something, I don't know. But like, get that. Take it care of real quick. Just Wow, that fixed it. Kind of. I like your spirit. Well, let's settle then. Maybe you could be a nice addition to the guild after all. No. I see you boys have become fast friends. Max nodded at Elisa as she both gave you the usual mugs of cold water. I guess you could say that, ma'am. Well then, lunch is ready. You boys better come along now. You both joined her for another lovely meal of the day. Elisa seemed a lot chattier this time around, and you also felt quite happy now that you've joined them both in the bantering. It was probably the best time you've had for quite a while. That was great. What else? I think Max invited me on a foraging trip next afternoon. It was quite nice, even though he had me walking around a lot more than Elisa would. But he did show me some more places
It's time to drink water.
Herbs or plants to forage.
It's time to drink water. It's time to drink water. It's time to drink water.
So maybe I could even impress Elisa next time around. And to think I thought Max hated me at first or something. He's been really nice to me. Even trained me again yesterday. Even though the way he trained me was rather tough, I don't think I would like to do 100 push-ups every day. Yeah, speaking of which, I'm leaving for the city in 2 days' time as well. It's hard to believe it, but I'm actually pretty excited. Alright, that's enough talking to myself. Maybe I need to write a diary or something. Do I have an idea of who you are? Hang on. Hiya, it's been a while. Wait a minute. Um... I have an idea, but I don't know if it's the right idea. Who are you? Yeah. I don't think anyone back there would believe this story anyway. There was a sinking feeling in your chest as you recognized the stone corridors around you. Must be happening again. Echoes of screams and fleeting laughter sent chills down your spine as you barely noticed a dark figure looming on the far end of the dark hall. It was smiling. Took a step forward only to find yourself falling into another unseen pit. What? You could see it before you again, the endlessly spiraling abyss. You must have been falling for a long time. What is... You bit your tongue as you caught a glimpse of what looked like a gigantic creature. Help me! Its maw grew wider and wider, engulfing your form as you dove deeper into the abyss. What? The creature spoke suddenly with its horrifying timbre. Huh? Wake. Dave, wake up! What? You awoke finding yourself drenched in sweat. You take a moment to look around the bedroom, darting your eyes from one corner to the other. It's been 5 minutes. Dave, are you alright, dear? You startled as a gentle voice spoke to you. It took you a moment to realize it didn't come from something hostile. Huh? Yeah, I'm fine. You muttered shakily, eyeing the bunny lady next to your bed. Sorry for making you worry, Elisa. I had a nightmare. Again. Oh, poor dear. It's all right. Elisa whispered, patting your head. Her soft touch really helped you calm down. But a nightmare, you say? Here we go. You looked at her again. She looked quite concerned, despite the gentle smile on her face. Perhaps it is a sign. A sign? That's nothing. Here, clean yourself up a bit, would you? Took the small towel she handed you and dried off the sweat from your neck and face, especially your forehead. Thanks, Elisa. Sorry for bothering you as well. Did I oversleep again? Not at all. In fact, I was going to let you sleep for a while after last night's errand, but you were shouting and whimpering so much, I had to wake you up early. What's he saying? Wasn't something you thought you'd get used to, but before you knew it, your tail was wagging at her gentle caress, and you breathed out a sigh of relief as she scritched your ear. Hang on. It's alright, Elisa, thank you. You could hear her chuckling as you snapped out of your trance. You sheepishly nudged her hand away. Breakfast is ready if you want to eat. Then take it easy for a bit. She smiled as she left your side, stopping by the door for a moment. Max is outside if you want to help him. He's going to chop some wood for the furnace. I'll be at the garden if you need me. Okay, thanks again, Elisa. Hang on, I'm fact-checking something. And the answer is no. I was thinking you were blue metal, but no. Okay, thanks again, Elisa. You put on your clothes and headed for the dining room, where your breakfast sat on the table. Oh, sweet, it's grilled chicken and eggs. Don't forget to wash your hands, Dave. Elisa shouted from outside. Got it. You quickly washed your hands on the sink. All done. You sat at the table and delved into the meal. It's already been 2 weeks since you arrived here out of the blue. It was very terrifying and overwhelming at first, but now everything seemed quite alright to you. You've gotten a lot more accustomed to the new lifestyle at Elisa's place, even feeling more comfortable with your new body and all that. In fact, you were excited for the days ahead. Whether it's still that prophecy thing Elisa told you about. If you can recall correctly, it was something about a hero coming from another dimension that could defeat the evil king and restore peace to the land. I hate to say it, but that's still a bit too much for me right now. What is? Eh? Jeez, Max, you scared the crap out of me. You groaned, playfully hitting him in the stomach. Well, you were zoning out for a while now, Dave. Chewing on that chicken bone like so. I know it's tasty, there's still some left if you're hungry for more. Ones with the meat still intact for you to chew on. Ugh, shut up. You feel yourself blushing hard as you glanced away from him. You knew what he meant was different, but you couldn't help thinking of the alternative. I'm still new to all of this, you know. Well, since you're done chewing your bones, maybe you can help me finish up some work. Yeah, sure. You pushed him out of the way as you left the table and proceeded to clean your dishes. You couldn't help but chuckling to yourself a little. Max has been a lot friendlier toward you since the first days you met. Sure, he might have been like that after that talk, but it still felt genuine to you, even if he tends to treat you like a younger brother a lot of times. It was strange, but still felt quite nice, given that you never really had an older brother figure in your life up to that point. It was MW. Oh, Maestro. Oh, Maestro, I think. When you finished, Max had already gone outside. You followed suit to find him chopping some wood, shirtless. You can't help but stare at his body and fluffy chest. You just wanted to give him a big hug and bury your face among his fur. You can help me out anytime you're done staring, Dave. Okay. Just titty. You approached him, flustered as ever. What can I do to help? Well, to start with, there is wood that needs chopping. There are also chicken to feed and water to collect from the well. What should I do? Titty. Can you... Yeah, I'm just going to send myself to horny jail. I'm going to send myself to horny jail because of what I'm about to say. Can you smash my head with your pectorals? Anyways, chop some wood, feed the chickens, or draw water from the well. Guess I'll get some water from the well. Okay, have a good one. Max waved at you as you went back to chopping wood. Strange as it may sound, this was one of the more relaxing chores in this household. You enjoyed watching the water sloshing around in the well, and you could always use a drink whenever you needed to freshen up. You were pulling more water up when you saw a shirtless Max passing by, and you couldn't help keeping your eyes on him for the moment. It didn't take long for him to notice you staring, and you left even more flustered. Looking good. Keep up the good work. Max smiled as he cheered for you before leaving, and your hand slipped. A pack. Do you also agree with the sentiment that Max should smash our head with his tits? Ah, darn it. You cursed silently as the bucket flipped over, pouring all the water back into the well. You chuckled to yourself before having another go at it. Fucking right? Your arms felt sore and your hands started to hurt a bit after a while. Okay, took the bucket for a last roundabout and managed to fill up most of the water barrels at the back of the house. You also made a mental note to steer clear of the stable, lest those beast creature things scare you to death every time you got close. Eventually you sat by the porch, exhausted. Done already? Yeah. Tried to avoid looking at him too much. Boys, lunch is ready. Lisa opens the door she called for you. Come on in and eat before it gets cold. Yes, ma'am. Max followed Elisa inside and took a moment to catch her breath before heading in as well. It's quail season, so baked quail with some vegetable soup for lunch. Looks delicious as always, Elisa. Ah, thank you. I made a lot, so be sure to fill up. I'll do just that. Max took a whole quail to his plate. You too, Dave. Eat up. Elisa looked to you as she said gently, Yes, ma'am. You ate up 4 whole quails and 3 bowls of soup. You usually eat a lot less when you were human. Perhaps your appetite changed along with your body. Stuffed, you laid back along the chair. Elisa was clearing the table and you suddenly felt something petting your belly. Feeling nice and full, Dave? He ran his hand along your belly. His gesture made you blush again. It felt so nice, but you quickly swatted his hand away. Can you stop doing that? You yelled as you shot up from the chair, going to Elisa to help her with the dishes. Ah, thank you, dear, but you don't have to help me, you know. It's alright, you already cooked us meals. This is the least I could do. Well, fair enough. By the way, do you have another favor to ask of you? Sure, what can I do to help? Can you go with Max to the woods after this? I need some herbs for cooking. Oh, alright. I thought Max already went foraging yesterday. I'm going to take these off because you're fucking with my ears. See, Elisa is so nice. It's the woods. Get ready. Gonna start becoming the monster from Steven Universe. That's true. But he's going to hunt some wild boars for tomorrow's rations. Now that she mentioned it, tomorrow is the day you left for the city, after all. And I would feel a lot safer if you're with him, you see. I understand, ma'am. I'll be sure to bring back some extras for you as well. Thank you, Dave. Try not to wander too far off, though, alright? The woods tend to get rather unsafe at later hours, and I don't want anything bad happening to you. Into the thick of it? I will, ma'am. Don't you worry. You ready to go, Dave? Max asked of you as you both prepared for the short trip. Ready when you are, you said, grabbing the leather pouch from your room. Max was already waiting for you by the doorway. You could see him in his usual adventuring attire, his trusty crossbow resting upon his back. That was one of my favorite things to do as a kid. Just like, and I still do this, just like walking around in the woods. It's fun. You ever just walk around in the woods? It's fun. You wondered if you could bring something to defend yourself. Then again, you're just out picking herbs. It's not like you'd need a weapon for such a trivial task. After saying goodbye to Elisa, you and Max headed into the depths of the forest. After going past the faded pathway, you began to see some clearings. We'll meet up here before sunset, okay? Okay. I know Elisa probably said this already, but don't go too far off the beaten path, okay? I won't be able to help you if you're lost in some forest caves. Yeah, I'll be careful. You too, Max. I can take care of myself, Dave. Unlike a certain someone. Yeah, I know. You're strong. Now go already. Those Borixes aren't going to hunt themselves. After Max left, you took the usual path off of the clearing to start looking for herbs. I'm just going to go ahead and censor the screen. As in, like, I'm just going to turn off the whole ass window. You wandered into the forest depths and found some herbs along the trees you recognized. You wandered a little further around the ancient tree close to the clearing and found some herbs. You wandered even further off the beaten path and found some herbs among the berry shrubs. Already found what you're looking for. You could call it a day, or perhaps you could search for more. Explore more! Some extra herbs wouldn't hurt, I guess. After bundling the herbs and tucking them away, you kept going. The further you headed into the forest, the darker it got, and there was more vegetation you had to trudge through. It was a hassle, but the reward was quite worthwhile. You found even more herbs and some edible mushrooms along the damp tree trunks. Looking behind yourself, you could see the path you've marked out to get back to the clearing. Max has probably returned by now. Perhaps you should go back. Then again, you remember Elisa mentioning something about the enchanted mushrooms you can find among the muddy banks of the ancient swamp. Though not a direct request, Elisa said she's always wanted some of those. Perhaps you could surprise her with the gift now that you're so close to it. Even deeper! Dense shrubs and trees blocked most of your ways forward, but you could vaguely spot a small gap between the tree lines further to the left, which you managed to squeeze through after a moment of struggling. You headed even further among the dampened soil. The amount of herbs there were so much more abundant. You were picking a handful of them when you suddenly heard something slithering among the shadows. My heart is fucking racing right now. Thought of running, but as soon as you lifted your leg, something tough already wrapped itself around your feet. Haphazardly kicked whatever it was off your feet as you backed up against the big tree stump. You could barely see some tentacle-like vines swinging and slithering about in the shades. Though scared witless, you steeled yourself to face whatever was head-on. Oh, fuck. Ah, shit. We are going to die. Dave couldn't go on. Game over. Gah! You could barely utter a cry when that thing yanked you off your feet. Before you knew it, you were laying upside down, with your feet being held up in the air. Under the shades, you tried to figure out what it was. Vines?! As realization hit you, even more vines came out among the shrubs and tried to hold you in position. They slithered down along your hand, flipping you and dragging you into a tree hole. Can't make out what's inside, but you can feel... Oh, God, I'm not reading that. That is Uh-Oh by Suburban. No, I am not. I'm sorry, what the fuck was that line? You finally woke up in your bed. It took you a moment to notice Max sitting at the corner, a look of contempt written all over his face. Max, what happened? I found you near the old swamp, Dave. Why did you wander that far off? I thought I could snatch some of those mushrooms Elise always wanted. I was so close to it, too. As you were. Max's stone-cold tone made you shiver. Could have looked away if your body didn't ache so much. It happened so fast, whatever that thing Moan vines, Dave. You were captured by one of them. Moan vines? They did things to me. Oh, I know well what sorts of things they did to you. Those things prey on hapless wanderers and knock them out, then keep them for sustenance. Sustenance? Yes. That is... If I hadn't found you in time, I was waiting at the clearing for a while. It was getting dark and I knew something must have gone wrong. I didn't think you would even make it to the marsh, but when I found your torn clothes scattered around the place, I knew it had to be one of those things. Good thing I brought a torch along, because arrows would have hurt you. See here, I'm very glad that you're still okay when I got to you, but you can't just throw your life away like that. And for what, impressing Elisa? If she really needed one of those ingredients, she would personally ask me to gather some for her, not you, Dave. I'm sorry. Made us both worried sick, you know that? When I brought you back home, she wouldn't stop crying and blaming herself while tending to your wounds. You know what? Just get some rest. With any luck, we're still heading to the city tomorrow. Be sure to apologize to Elisa before you leave. She did not deserve any of this. Okay. Damn! Max sighed as he left the room, still visibly upset. Tension still lingered in the room even after Max had left for a long time. Felt tired and could barely lift a muscle as your body was sore all over. You wondered what would happen had you listened to their warning. Thought back to Elise's request for the day. After looking around the room for a while, your backpack was nowhere to be seen. Perhaps it was lost in the forest, lying in that dark tree hole along with all the herbs you were supposed to bring back. With a sigh, you closed your eyes again, hoping to get some more rest and recover enough strength for the journey tomorrow. You felt guilty, yet couldn't help feeling... every time you think back to that vine. Tomorrow's a big day, and you couldn't help wondering what kind of people and what sort of adventures awaited you in the city. Drifted off to sleep after pondering for a while. Are you sure you really have to go, Dave? You looked to Elise as she spoke. She seemed sad even though she was smiling. Well, you're the one who said I need to go to the city, ma'am. For safety and to receive training and all that. You replied, going over your luggage one last time before moving to the front door. You're right, just... You could feel Elisa softly caressing your hand as she said, I'd hoped you would perhaps stay for just a little longer. You could use more time to heal up after all. Ma'am? Muttered. She leaned in for a hug. Oh, I'm going to miss you both. You could hear her sniffling ever so slightly under the embrace. You made sure to hold back your own tears. Only been here for 2 weeks, and yet somehow it already felt like years. And you couldn't help feeling guilty. I'm sorry for what happened yesterday. I've brought you more trouble than it's worth, and It's alright, dear. I don't blame you. You still have so much to learn. Just promise me you'll take it as a lesson so that you won't make the same mistake twice. Oh, I promise. Good, then that's all that matters. Experience is the best teacher after all. Elisa smiled as she patted your head. Well, don't worry, ma'am. We'll come visit you when the time is right. You walked towards the dirt road where your vehicle awaited. It was a traditional horse-drawn carriage, only that it was hovering with two of those weird beast creatures hauling the whole entire thing. Actually taking a closer look at them after taking a while to muster up your courage. Turned out that they weren't really that hostile. They looked very strange, but somewhat like a mix of horses and wolves at the same time, which you still found very intimidating. Max was at the front, tending to said creatures at the front. Go on and put your stuffs in the back, Dave. Alright. You accidentally left Elisa's side, keeping a close eye on those creatures. Are you sure those things won't bite me? First off, they're called Hulf, Dave. And second, if you can handle them well, they won't bite you. Much. Max smirked as he turned to the wolves. The growling noises they made still freaked you out a bit. Max didn't seem to mind it one bit, though. In fact, they seemed to be fooling around with him even, like pets with their owner. You opened the carriage door and placed your luggage inside. The wolves gave you a suspicious look. One of the beasts growled at you as you went back to the front, and you tripped and fell trying to move away. Ma'am, are you actually sure he's a hero? Max sighed as he looked at Elisa. Well, come what may, he still has a long journey ahead of him, of that I am certain. And this would be where you come in, yes? I understand, but alone? I can't just be his personal babysitter, ma'am. Well, I know you mightn't want to hear this, but... Elisa whispered hesitantly. Perhaps you could call on them for help? Max stared at her for a moment. He seemed to give the idea some consideration, but it was clear he didn't like it one bit. I don't know, Elisa. Max seemed reluctant, but Elisa was quick to shush him. Just give it a chance, for all our sake. I know things have been a lot different over the years, but together, I believe you can pull this off. Elisa then gave him another head pat and a gentle scritch on his chin. Even from afar, you could see him wagging his tail. You chuckled to yourself. A shame your phone had already died by then. This would have been a perfect moment to immortalize. Already, Max? Decided to call them over after a moment. Okay. Well, I guess this is it. Elisa smiled as you and her joined in on a full-on embrace. Thank you, Elisa. Thank you for everything. If you hadn't found me in the forest and looked after me, I don't know where I'd be right now. Don't mention it, dear. Just make sure you take care of yourself. You could feel her hand running along your head fluff. Before giving you the same chin-scritching treatment Max received. You savored the embrace for a while. Her touch really soothed your troubled mind as always. Remember to eat well and train hard. Keep at that, and I'm sure you'll become the greatest hero this land has yet to witness. Understood. I won't let you down, I promise. As the embrace parted, you hopped into the carriage. Max was already seated at the front, and you could see him waving at Elisa. Until next time, Elisa. Until next time, boys. Safe travels. Ready to go, Dave? Gave the cabin a final longing look before closing the door. Yup, let's. Alright, giddy up! Max finally signaled the wolves, and the carriage began to gain momentum. Elisa's homestead soon faded into the distance. The scenery stayed the same though, just the ever-going tree lines and the shrubs to your sides. You were still in the middle of the forest after all. At first you feel excited, but after staring at the same greenery for a few hours, you start to feel a bit bored. So, how was life before you came here? You felt like dozing off when Max spoke up. Perhaps he was just as bored. As far as I know, I was a human before I came here. A human? What's that? It's like, how do I put it? Well, it's like you, but without the snout, fur, tail, and paws. What? Max looked to you in disbelief. I can't even imagine what your old self looked like. You must have looked so weird. Sorry, no offense, but compared to what you just described, you look way better this way. He chuckled, keeping his eyes on the road again. Well, thanks, I guess. You muttered, feeling flustered again. I was a pretty average human back in my world. They said I have no parents, so I grew up in an orphanage. The caretaker said they found me on the porch one night without any trace or whereabouts of the person that left me there. Whoa, life must have been rough, huh? Well, for the most part it was okay. The caretaker is a good man. He can cook quite well, too, though Elisa's cooking could beat it by a mile any day. You both chuckled, and you couldn't help feeling a bit hungry thinking back to the delicious meals Elisa prepared during your stay. And was it lonely growing up an orphan? Not exactly. I've made some friends in the orphanage, too. Since we don't have parents, we treat each other like siblings. We'd play together, go on field trips together, and go to the same school as well. School? Yeah, school. It's a place where young humans learn about the world and how things work. Ah, so just like the academy, then. So, anything you wanted to know about our world? The academy. What is the academy like? The academy, same as your schools, is where people learn about the world. There are a lot of stuffs you can learn there. Magic, hand-to-hand combat, alchemy, biology, etc. We train numerous mercenaries and scientists to reinforce our cities and join forces against the king. Wait, you can study magic there? Remember Elisa saying something about how everybody being able to use magic in this world? Well, yeah, once you're there, you'll receive basic training for combat and magic. So anything you wanted to know more? Tell me more about magic. Well, magic comes from your own body. Each of us have something called affinities. Different people have different affinities. For example, I have ice affinities. That means I can control ice and perform ice magic. I can conjure ice, freeze stuff, and slow things down. Wow, that's so cool. No pun intended, of course. Well, I guess it is. But we need a magic crystal to channel our magic. Without it, we won't be able to conjure anything. I want to do magic too. There's no magic back in my world. It's just the stuff of fantasy and legends there. Everything works on scientific logic, which just seems boring to me. Everything has its good and bad, and magic is no exception. Sure, it might look cool and satisfying to conjure a fireball or to briefly control the gravity of your surroundings. Without proper control, it can very well become an agent of destruction. So, anything you wanted to know more? A magic crystal. You mentioned a magic crystal. What is that? Special type of mineral that was discovered deep underground. There are two variants of magic crystals. One is for channeling magic, the other is for generating energy. Technically, there is a third type of crystal, but using it is forbidden. Forbidden? Is it dangerous? You could put it that way. From what I know, it contains dark energy. You can use it to control and manipulate other living beings. It's very rare, however, and requires the user to have a potent energy reservoir to be able to use it effectively. So far, only the evil king has been seen using that type of crystal without any negative effect. So, anything you wanted to know more? Yeah, this evil king. So, I have heard quite a bit about this evil king so far. But who is he exactly? It's hard to say. His true name is unknown to us. Nobody even knows exactly where he came from. Legends say that he was from a humble village far up north in this land, once upon a time when the nations lived in peace and harmony. Then everything changed for the worse when he rose to power and ruled with an iron fist. He transformed everybody in his village into his subject and plotted to do the same to other adversaries. So far, he already conquered a large part of his continent, and maybe 1/3 of the world. Even when many people tried to stop him? Indeed, many powerful warriors, brave knights, and wise sages from many factions and nations have faced off against the king, only to meet their unfortunate demise. Hiya. Even our war against him has lasted for decades by now. And somehow I would be the one to defeat him and restore peace and balance to the world? You're chuckling at the jokeful remark, but Max didn't seem to be messing around this time. Yeah, I'm afraid so. Do we actually know what he looked like too? I'd assume most people don't. Why? Have you seen him before? Actually, kind of, but I'd rather not talk about it again. A lot of those nightmares made you shiver a little. Max, on the other hand, went quiet for a moment before his tone grew solemn and you wondered what was on his mind. 'Twas foretold by the sorceress of yore. When worlds collide, comes forth our salvation. Under his blade and might, the evil king shall fall, and soon follow suit his undying reign of tyranny. Only then shall freedom come to us all. Whoa! I'm not sure which version of this Miss Elisa told you, but if the prophecy is true, then the fate of this land lies in your hands, Dave. No pressure. Yeah! No pressure indeed. Actually, that reminds me, you do need to recite that quite a lot if you take those study classes. Oh, geez, really? I surely hope not. But of course. So, anything you wanted to know more? No. I guess that's all for now. You felt like you've learned quite a lot of new stuff just from that conversation. You decided to change the topic and chat up with Max for a while before you felt drowsy again. Sleepy? Max looked at you as a yawn escaped your lips. Yeah. You did get up early after all. Get some shut-eye. I'll wake you up when we arrive at the city. Okay, thanks, Max. You curled up along the side of the seat, using the cushions as a pillow. You remember sleeping on those old buses when you were younger. The carriage wasn't as spacious, but it sure didn't shake as much, and aside from the hooves' occasional howling, this was far more comfier. You let your mind wander for a while longer as you slowly drifted to sleep. Sleepy time, ah! You forced a yawn as you came to. It was quiet. You must have been asleep for a while. Max? You grunted, rubbing your eyes for a moment, no response. You looked around at yourself, even under your blurry eyes. Something tells you weren't on the carriage anymore. I'm at school? Gave your furry arm a light pinch, which didn't do much other than earning a yelp from you. Quickly covered your mouth, expecting everyone in the classroom to have their eyes on you, but they didn't seem to notice. He must be too busy paying attention to whatever the teacher was on about. Was all this just a dream? You sighed, rubbing your eyes some more just to make sure you weren't seeing things when you noticed the teacher approaching. Recognized him almost immediately. He was a professor that always wore the old trench coat around the school. Judging by the numbers on the board, he probably was teaching either math or physics, but for whatever reason, his name just eluded you. You forced a smile as the professor stopped before your desk. Even though he was up close, his face seemed a little blurred out. Enjoyed your nap, Mr. Dave. He gave you a stern look before eyeing the content on your desk. You know how I deal with students that doze off in my class, but I'll let you off with a warning this time only because you've done decently on the last exam. Thanks, sir. Felt like your heart almost skipped a beat as he gave you a weird look. The finals are just a week away, Mr. Dave. Were I you, I'd stay extra focused. And put away your philosophy books, if you please. I'm afraid they won't help you much against these equations. Oh. Heard some scoffing among the other students as the teacher returned to the board. Felt like this couldn't get any more embarrassing. Then they went quiet again and the lesson resumed. He looked at the wall clock, which read 2 in the afternoon. Looks like it was going to be at least a few hours before the session ended. Swapped out the textbooks from the rucksack at your feet, then tried to haphazardly note down the professor's explanations. Something about using a theorem to denote something about matrices. Matrices? What does any of that mean? Tried to keep up, but after a moment you just stopped. Could have sworn being half decent at this subject, and yet you couldn't understand a single word beyond that. Nothing in your notebook made sense either. All these numbers, lines, and symbols, almost as if all of it was written in some kind of language you couldn't understand. This is boring. You sighed, taking your eyes off of the notebook. Maybe you're just having one of those days where nothing made sense. Mattresses. Hang on. My back. You started to look outside. It was another sunny day, and the view seemed rather familiar to you. It was a city you grew up in, after all. What is that? A purple structure loomed in the distance. It looked like a giant spire casting shadow over the entire city. Its obsidian spikes seemed to poke through the surrounding skyscrapers. It looked so out of place, and yet at the same time you couldn't shake the feeling that you've seen it somewhere before. Snap back to the board as the teacher cleared his throat. You feel some of your classmates staring at you. This was probably one of the most embarrassing days you ever had in school. When the lesson resumed, you looked through the windows again. The massive structure was nowhere to be seen. After what felt like an eternity, the school bell finally rang. You left the classroom in a heartbeat. Hey, Dave. A familiar voice called you from behind. Oh, hey, it was your childhood friend. You could recognize his casual wear and his messy hairstyle anywhere. Remember him well from all the times you spent together in the past, when he asked you for help with his homework recently. Just like everyone you've met today, his face was rather blurry and you couldn't for the life of you figure out what his name was. What's wrong? Did you pull another all-nighter? He asked, giving your shoulder a light punch. Yeah, of course you did. Been reading more of the stuff on F6, haven't you? I what now? Well, I know I would. Been through several albums there the other day myself. Good stuff. I can show you some later if you wanna. Yeah, maybe not. I don't want to get into trouble being caught asleep in class again. Stole a glance at the elderly professor passing by the stairwell. Oh, him, relax, Dave. You know how he is, all barks and no bite. What he said made you cringe for some reason. Well, don't you notice anything different about me? Different? Took a good look at you from top to bottom. The only weird thing I see is how much your eyes sag. Maybe get some proper sleep tonight. Oh, okay. You're fine. Don't worry about it anyways. I gotta go. Catch you later. Yeah, bye. You lagged behind as your friend left. Somehow you felt sad. Perhaps for the first time ever you felt lost in the same city you've spent most of your life in. As if you didn't belong here to begin with. What is going on? No one seems to notice I'm no longer human at all. Thought to yourself as you left the school, taking the first road towards your rented apartment. Maybe it's for the better. I was never meant to be the hero type after all. Well, at least I can still keep this body. You wagged your tail at the exciting prospect. You thought of all the cool things you could do with this new furry self. Huh, what? Suddenly, the next step you took on the sidewalk became hollow. Waking up as a furry would be fun for the first 3 hours. Because after 3 hours, you will likely get abducted by the government, and they will run all sorts of experiments on you, trying to figure out, most likely killing you in the process. And before you knew it, you'd already dove deep into the unseen chasm. You struggled and yelled, but soon there was nothing but darkness surrounding you. Felt like you've been falling forever. You could see the same silhouette looming over you. It was laughing hysterically. There was something about it that sent chills down your spines. Help You screamed from the top of your lungs. You could see its maw growing wider and wider, engulfing your form the further you fell into the abyss. What? The figure spoke suddenly. Wake up! What? Wake up, Dave! You shot up from the carriage seat. Max was still taking the rein, and you could hear the wolves howling in the front. We're almost there. Just about 10 more minutes. Lean against the cushion for a moment, still feeling disoriented. If it's anything like washing my hair, because my hair was sometimes a pain in the ass to wash, then I feel like I'm good. Lean against the cushion for a moment, still feeling disoriented. You look even more tired than before. Bad dream? Max looked at you as he asked. You didn't say anything, not that you didn't want to, you just didn't even know where to start. Speaking of the city, you've always been curious what it looked like up close. If it's anything like my hair, I'm already good, because I shed so much hair, it's not even funny. You were still groggy to enjoy the view, so you covered your eyes and waited it out. Alright, here we are, let's go, Dave. You see Max getting off the front seat. Okay. Grabbed your backpack and stepped out of the vehicle. Taking a moment to stretch and look around. Whoa! See a tall structure ahead of you. Okay. Welcome to the Gallanteer Guild. You'll be staying here for the time being, at least until you can afford your own place, that is. Max gave you a smile as you followed him into the building. Whoa! You're even more awestruck now that you're inside. The interior reminded you of the medieval inns you've seen in fantasy books, only with a modern twist. I was just like you the first time I got here. Come, let's get you checked in. Max led you to the receptionist to sign you up. Welcome back, Max, and you are Dave, yes? Yeah, that's me. Let's see, everything seems to be in order. Please sign here, here, and here. The receptionist handed you a form from one of the boxes in the back. Grabbed a pen on the counter and signed your name as instructed. Writing with your new hand certainly felt different, if not a tad awkward. Still managed to do it after a moment of fiddling. There we go, alright, you're all set, Dave. They gave you a set of keys, and you could see a number etched onto its side. I'm sure you'll be a helpful addition to the Gallanteers, unlike those guys that tried to sign up as plateer. Can you believe that? Oh! I'm pretty sure that's a reference to the developers. I'm like 99% sure that's a reference to the developers. And that is hilarious. Like, damn. Like fucking the Heart of Amethyst Zordy all over again. Fucking loved Zordy and Heart of Amethyst. That's a strange name for a person. What's wrong with that? That's the name of our old headquarters. Anyhow, enjoy your stay in the city. Okay, thanks. Gave the receptionist a courtesy nod and headed back. Max was waiting by the large doorway to the right. All done? You nodded. Now, come along, let me show you around. Max took you to the right wing of the guild, cutting straight through the long corridor with a lot of rooms and stairwells on the sides. As you stepped out of the back entrance, a broad tower soon came into view. Its shape reminded you more of a lighthouse, except it was much taller, if not as tall as all the skyscrapers back in your world. This here is the observatory. People call it the research tower, and as the name implies, it's the center of research and development on both magic and science. You followed Max through the archway entrance into the base of the tower. Each floor of the tower is actually dedicated to a specific type of magic or science. You stopped to read the sign by the tower entrance. Gallanteer Observatory. There was an area similar to the reception back at the main building, like a guest lounge of sorts. You could see other guild members resting by the sofas and chatting. Hey, have you heard the news? The situation outside the barrier is looking pretty grim. And why do you care? We can't get this break to worry about things we can't deal with. So we better finish that assignment soon or the director will have our hides. Yeah, you're right. Meanwhile, Max seemed to be explaining to you a bit more about the place, but something about the conversation you overheard just bothered you. Oh, hey, Alex. Max called for the Lynx passing by the lounge.
Huh, Max, well, haven't seen you around in a bit.
Indeed, how have you been?
Same as always, what about you? What are you doing here?
I'm showing this new guy around. Max waved at you to come closer. Dave, this is Alex, one of the top scientists at the tower. Alex is Dave, our new mercenary. Hi, Alex. Nice to meet you.
Great, another sacrificial lamb for the king, I see.
Lynx gave you a look of contempt, but still shook your hand in return.
Well, nice to meet you too, Dave. Listen, I'd love to keep you two company, but I've got more pressing matters to attend to at the moment.
Alex said as he made his way to the elevator beside the spiral stairwell. Geez, what a nice guy. You rolled your eyes and Max scoffed. Yeah, that's Alex for you.
Oh yeah, Dave.
You see Alex poking his head out from the elevator. Yes?
Since you're new here and probably have nothing better to do, why not make yourself useful and come by my lab at the underground levels? A new test subject is always welcomed.
Last thing you saw before the door closed was a sly grin, which made you a bit uncomfortable. Don't mind him, Dave. He must be in a weird mood today. What do you mean? He doesn't usually joke around like that, but I get stressful lab work can do that to you once in a while. I'm sure he doesn't mean what he said, though. Max gave you a shoulder pad as you left the tower and headed back to the main building. You may have seen it earlier, but through here is a central hall. It's where the classrooms and training rooms are. As you can see, they are closed during weekends and holidays. You're free to join the program anytime you want during weekdays. So where will I be staying, actually? Oh, the living quarters. You can call it the dormitory. It's at the back of the guild building. Just go through the hallway in the back and it should lead you straight to the dorm rooms. Look at your keys again in case you forgot what your room number was. Got it? Hey, Max. Looking good, man. Red Dragon approached Max from the training quarters. Huh? Oh, hey, Rye. You stepped aside as they greeted each other with a brief side hug. Didn't expect to see you around here at this hour. Where are you going? Just fetching some things for Alex. Who is this cute little guy? Had to glance away a bit when the dragon laid his eyes on you. Hi, I'm Dave. Nice to meet you. Duh, well, it's a pleasure getting to know you too, Dave. Ray winked at you as he placed an arm on your shoulder. Let's enjoy a cup of coffee sometime, shall we? The way you looked at you made you even more flustered. Hey now, leave me, would you? You know how hard it is for me, Max. I'm always into them new faces. I know, but keep it yourself, Rye. You'll just scare off the newbies. Besides, didn't you say you have some errands to run? Ah, you're right. Well, see you around, Dave. I'm going to stop for a little bit for the ad. We're actually not going to be in stream much longer. You can feel yourself blushing hard from his flirty tone and winking. You stayed frozen in place for a moment even after Ray had left the central hallway. Come on, Dave, don't fall behind now. Max already took the first corner to the left. Okay, coming! And here we have the guild's food court. After catching up to him, he led you to a large doorway amid the corridor. You looked at the wooden sign hung beside the door. The Honeysuckle? Yep, that's the official name anyways. The place is open from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m., so you can have your breakfast, lunch, and dinner here. That sounds really neat. You looked around as you followed Max inside. The place immediately reminded you of the school canteen, but instead resembled a traditional tavern more, which you found quite cozy. Good day, boys. The bear behind the counter waved at Max. Everybody at this place seems to know him. Cody, how are you holding up? Swell, and where have you been, Max? I actually miss seeing you here every morning. Just spending some time away from the city. I see. Well, now that you're back, what can I get you? The usuals? Nah, thanks. I already had lunch on the way here. Besides, I'm mostly here to show our new guy around. Max nudged you a bit towards the counter. Hi. I'm Dave. Well, hello there, Dave. I'm Cody, head chef of this humble kitchen. My job is to make sure everyone in the gallant here stays well fed. After all, no army can fight on an empty stomach. Cody said with a bright smile, lifting his ladle for emphasis. So, if you wanted something to eat, just give the word and I'll be sure to whip a proper meal to fill up that belly of yours. Yes, sir. You chuckled. There was something about his speech that really uplifted your spirits. Now that you mentioned, maybe a light snack wouldn't hurt. You know the drill, Max. Just take a look at the menu. Let me know if something interests you and I'll set you right up. Will do, Cody. Thanks. Max gave the bear a thumbs up before looking to you. Well, that wraps the tour up for today. You can stay here and have lunch with me or explore more on your own if you want. I think I'll go to my room first. Unpack my stuff and maybe rest for a bit. It's been a long trip and that last nap was not very pleasant. Oh, gotcha. Well, I'll be around here if you need me. See you later, Dave. Okay, bye Max, bye Cody. You left the tavern and found your way through the back hallways, which connected to a different area. The direction plaque at the entrance read Galantier Residential Quarters. This must be it. You took a moment to study the diagram next to the plaque. The dormitory buildings had 6 floors, each split into 4 main halls with a meeting point in the middle. Not very different from the college dorm I've seen before. You thought, taking a look at the keys you received as you made your way up the middle stairwell. Based on the number inscription, your room was the 3rd one on the first left wing of the 5th floor. You breathed a sigh of relief as you finally got inside your room. You can see why they had to etch all of that info into the keys. It's quite easy getting lost just wandering around the dorm, let alone the entire guild building. We're going to leave off here tonight. I'm just mentally preparing because, like, that hurt my heart. Anyways, stay safe, have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.